All right.
Hey, Rifters, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, and review. Tell a friend. We got Victor Pacheco is back in the building. Victor, how are you? Now I cannot hear Victor. Victor was scolding me about his mic, and now he's muted. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This is not good. Victor's in
This is
this.
bad.
Oh, Victor's there. Hi, Victor.
Oh, thank God. I was like, this is bad. It was just like it said change to external mic.
Oh,
And so I was just like, oh yeah, that is external. I had it, you know what I mean? It's just like, but I chose the USB drive. So I don't know. I guess like it's external drive. I
oh.
don't know. I don't care. It works.
As long
So
as it works, that's all that matters. So, Victor, how you doing? Tell the folks at home what have you been up to?
yeah, man, I'm just trying to carry on my podcast, man, with
So
reaching
you
out to
you
people.
so you have a podcast, not
Yes,
Reza Riffs. That's
it's
what you've
not
been up
razor.
to. You've been
I've been up
doing
to razor reps.
you thought, you know what? I could be the main guy, not the trusty sidekick. You were like Robin on his own adventure.
I don't know, dude. I mean, Robin involved other people. I mean, my first 10 episodes was like no people I was interviewing. You know what I
Oh,
mean? It was just solo bolo, and I was just going 53 minutes. I'm like, wow, I hope people don't think I'm like high on dope.
yeah.
Because it's just like, how can you just talk for 50 minutes just nonstop without, anybody else talking?
So
Like,
I interviewed a guy who had a hearing aid, right?
yeah.
And I was like interviewing him like serious questions, like, "Oh, what's it like being old?" Stuff like that. And he always kept asking me to like he
What the fuck is wrong with you, man?
like he always asked me. He kept on repeating the question, and I was like,
What the fuck is wrong with you, Keith? Jesus Christ. This is
"Yeah,
water, by the way. This is like vodka.
no, 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 it's fine."
This is funny. I'm just telling the viewers because this
I
is
just want you to know, Victor, though, that they do want to release the video on this one. So if you want your dogs, so everyone can see your dogs in the background.
okay, yeah, I know. Those are my dogs. Just
Yeah,
just the
some
little one.
people are very
The little,
sensitive about their dogs.
oh, I'm super sensitive. I wanted this as my background because
Oh, okay, okay.
I was gonna blur the background, but then I was just like, you know what? Let's have these little pepperonis. That's a 6 year old. I forgot what it was. It's a super big ass dog though.
Yeah.
It's like super noticeable if you know like your dog breeds. Like I forgot what it is, but it was only like 5 months old, and then my dog was like still like beating that dog's ass,
Yeah.
and it was really incredible. Like wow, this dog, like these Chihuahuas, I don't know what's made up with them, but they're like 90% paranoia, like 10% methamphetamine or something like that, because like Chihuahuas, like, dude, they'll wake up before you. They'll be like, "Hey, let's go play," and it's like, dude, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. We're not gonna go play right now.
So I saw a dog in the park the other day and it was
Yeah.
lost, right? And I was like, come here, Pooch, right? I got a crack.
The fuck is this, the 80s and shit?
Yeah. I, I was like, I got a cracker for you, right? And he
Yeah.
wasn't listening. So I was like, come here, boy. I have a nice steak sandwich, you know? And as it gets closer to me, it's not a dog, Victor. It's a big, vicious coyote. It scared the shit out of me.
Dude, that's a scary ass story. I thought you were telling me a pleasant story about dogs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the point of the story is coyotes aren't pooches.
yeah, I know that term. I mean, I guess that's in rhythm with what we're gonna be talking about today with scary stuff.
Yeah, scary stuff. because
Dude, yeah, man.
we have a great guest. Not that the guest is scary, but she's in scary stuff.
Oh yeah, I know. I didn't like to see any of that stuff. It's just like, and I don't know. You don't even know how to say that.
Yeah,
It's just that you have to. It's just like, oh yeah, it's hard to watch a hot chick get murdered in a movie.
yeah.
It's
Especially
like,
when it's your movie.
no, I mean, not even because it's just her. She's just like, a lot
Yeah,
of hot chicks that get murdered in fucking movies, and it's just
yeah.
like, whoa, dude. I mean, she's not playing fucking Lacey Peterson and shit.
So the
She,
Saw
all due
movies.
respect, may she rest in peace. I love Lacey Peterson. That was fucked up. She died. Sorry, that
No
was fucked
worries.
up. She
The Saw movies.
died.
I'm a huge fan of the Saw movies, and our guest today is Betsy Russell. You've seen her in Saw 3, Saw 4, Saw 5, Saw 6, Saw 7. She was a stand-up comedian. Her credits will be you've seen her in Saw 3, Saw 4, Saw 5, and she's also been in private school, and she's a great actress, and she's a life coach now, the great Betsy Russell. And it's going to be fun because I think this is going to be fun because I'm a huge Saw fan. I know everything there is to know about Saw. Victor knows nothing about Saw. So Victor's going to be
Other than the clip
Victor's
that
gonna be
Keith
like,
sent
"Yeah,
me,
I loved you and Saw." I'm gonna be like, "That's right, Victor."
well, no, I mean, I'm just analyzing it as a scene, and I'm just like, I think that's, you know, I don't know, it begs certain questions about, I don't know, the whole writing process, from like what's the first draft to what's the final draft to these have been your lines for the past,
Those
X
are
amount of
actually good
time.
questions because a Saw script. Here's the thing about Saw scripts because I take screenwriting. It's
Yeah.
so it's so hard to find the actual Saw script. Like they made like 7 different scripts. But I have my questions on handy dandy note cards now because the older I get, Victor Pacheco, uh,
Yeah.
the older I get, my Asperger's is making me like harder to socialize, and like if I have a question, it's harder for me to say it, so I have to write it down so I don't forget it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
this question says, uh, it says, Betsy, would you ever date a struggling comedian?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't want to forget this one, Victor.
Dude, I swear to God, I hope she doesn't think that's about me.
No, 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 she won't. She won't. I'll save that one for last. But the point is, I have them on cards now.
Just in case you walk her.
Yeah,
It's just she's like bloop.
yeah.
No.
All right, guys. Well, Betsy Russell is going to be here momentarily. Subscribe, rate, review, and we'll see you on Reza Riffs.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.
All right. We're letting the great Betsy Russell in via Zoom. The Zoom's taking a second, but she is here, folks. I swear. Hi, Betsy. Oh, hi, Betsy. I think she's muted.
Right click her and ask her to enable audio.
Hi.
No, we can't hear you. No, I'm telling Keith what to do because he's
I'm
he's
going
he's
to
the,
send
he's
her a
the host.
DM.
Don't send her a DM. Just
Oh,
right click her face and
that's
say
what I did. It
enable.
says it shows a DM.
Oh, good. It's working.
Oh, hi, Betsy.
Okay, go ahead. There we
Hi.
go. Sorry.
I was about to slide into your DMs and tell you I couldn't hear you.
I know.
Uh,
I was wondering if it would work, but I have to use my phone because my computer's been difficult lately with the Zoom stuff.
oh yeah,
It
yeah.
looks like you're using a computer. I'm using a computer, and your quality looks better than mine for sure.
Good. Thanks to the iPhone. Are we starting it or not yet?
Yeah, we're starting. Do you not want to start right now, or you want to start right
Oh, it doesn't matter. We can
now?
start over. We can
Oh,
start
okay.
over if you want.
We can start over. Okay. Basically, they're
Skip the
great.
technical talk.
Oh yeah. Forget the technical talk. All right. Welcome to the show, guys. Betsy Russell's here. Betsy, how are you?
Great. How are you guys?
Doing good. Thank you so
Good.
much for
Yeah, good. Thanks for
saying
asking.
yes.
For what?
For saying
Saying yes?
yes. Yeah.
Yes. I like to say yes, like the surrender experiment says. Just say yes.
Yeah. Say yes and then regret it later. That's what I like to say.
Never. Never. No
Um,
regret.
Betsy, this is the trusty sidekick, Victor.
Hey, Betsy, good to meet you.
Hi. Nice to meet you too.
All right.
I do comedy with Keith. He's not just my,
Oh yeah, we do
life.
stand-up comedy.
Oh, I
No, it's
love
funny.
comedians.
You're like, oh yeah, oh it's this is my friend Victor. It's like every Thanksgiving. It is my friend Victor. So sorry.
Okay. Maybe I should mute Victor. I'm sorry, Betsy.
Okay. All good.
No, but thank you so much for doing this. I know it's not every day that you get to talk to someone named Victor and your future husband. So thank you so much.
That's funny.
Thank you. Excellent. So Betsy, I want to start with a private school because that was like a big movie for like the 80s. Like, how like a teen comedy that started the trend. I feel like, how was that like? Because that was like your first movie.
That was my first starring role in a movie, and it was amazing. It was my dream come true because I was obsessed with Phoebe Cates after Fast Times at Ridgemont High, as most of the world was. So just to be able to audition for that role, it was, a huge win for me. I couldn't believe it. And when I was sitting in the room, she actually walked through and kind of waved to all of us sitting in the waiting room. And I was like, oh my God, she noticed me. And then I went in and auditioned and I got the role on the spot. And although
Nice.
It was incredible, it was like a dream. So I kind of was thinking before the audition would kind of looked a little bit similar, both really dark features that I didn't know how that would work, but of course they went out and had a meeting, the producers and the director, and they came back in and they said, we figured it out. We're going to bleach your hair if that's okay. And I said, of course, I'll do anything. So they came up with the whole strawberry blonde idea, called my agent right there, took me to meet Phoebe the next day. She was on the set of, what was it? I don't remember her next movie.
Oh, that was a good movie too.
Yeah, I don't know, but she said something like, maybe the one with, I can't remember. Oh gosh. Anyway, senior brain, sorry. She just said to me something like, I hope you're not nervous about, the nudity scenes. And I just think I had one at that point, maybe in the shower in the beginning. Right. And I was like, I hadn't really even thought about it because I never in my wildest dreams thought I would, get it. It's like I hadn't really done much. And I said, well, I'm not really that nervous. And she's like, oh, I had, 25 nude scenes in Blue Lagoon. Don't worry about it. It's no big deal. And they ended up adding the scene of me riding the horse that wasn't in the original script. And they came to me, the producers, one day, and they said, how do you feel about doing a scene where you're trying to make Chrissy's character jealous and, you ride off and your shirt comes off and Matthew Modine's character, I forget his name now, but, he's watching you. And I said, I thought about it. And I said, would I be wearing a helmet on the horse? And they said, this is what my 19-year-old mind thought of. And they said, yeah, you would. Why? And I said, I don't want just my boobs to be the whole shot. If the helmet could fall off and it could become a beauty shot, I'll do it. So that was all me. And it turned out to be a really cool scene. Awesome. And then I didn't have to be naked in the shower, which was great because there was only that one scene. So it turned out good. It was a great experience. And Phoebe and I were fast friends and we had a great time filming, really great time. Matthew Modine's wife did not like me, but I'm used to that. So It was fine.
How come she didn't like you? Because you stole her man in that
Jealousy.
movie?
Jealousy. I
Yeah,
take it as a compliment.
Well,
And Phoebe and I were like plotting. She hates you, Betsy. And I was like, I know. What are we going to do? And she goes, nothing. Just smile and don't worry about it.
I
I don't
wanted
know
to.
if it was really true, but that was what we made up in our head, that she
Oh
would like it.
yeah, through the
a lot
grapevine.
of don't a lot of co-stars just end up like going out with each other? Like sometimes, like after
Oh, yeah.
movies, secretly
Oh, yeah.
or publicly, like regardless, they end up going out
Yeah.
with each other.
They,
I mean,
they
like
definitely
so.
do, because you spend so much time on location. You're in a different town, and everybody's pretty good looking or really talented. You're getting treated like you're the queen or king of Sheba, and it kind of is an attractive thing. You kind of look at that person and you're like, everybody is dying to, talk to them or whatever. They must be super cool, especially if they're the star of the show and you're just like doing, a guest star or a smaller role. It's
Yeah.
really, I always tell my son, who's an actor, he hasn't really he's 30, he hasn't really had a girlfriend. And one time I asked him, do you think it's because, anything to do with the business? And he's like, are you kidding? I'm going to be doing love scenes and everything. I don't want to cheat on my girlfriend or my wife. So it's tough. It is.
Yeah,
I'll admit it.
I wanted to ask you, like nowadays when you do a movie with someone, you could like just Google your co-stars if you don't know who they are, and you could see what they're about or whatever. How was that like back then? Like, for example, if you didn't know who Matthew Modine was, how did you like get a sense of what kind of how the chemistry? You know what I mean? Like,
Well, obviously it was his first movie too. So even if I would have been able to Google him, I wouldn't have found anything. I think the answer to that question is yes, it's much easy to be able to Google people in general for everything these days. And the other way that you'd have your manager or agent tell you all about the people you're working with and like, what's the deal with these people? Like, who are they? What are they all about? Are they married? Are they not? It's just kind of that type of thing. What have they done?
yeah. I guess I was just asking, would you prefer the technology to happen back then so it could be more like easier, I guess? Because like I have a social disorder called Asperger's, so like when I work with people, I have to like get a sense of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I say yes to technology. I mean, I have this debate with one of my best girlfriends I grew up with all the time. Every day we talk, and every day she's bitching and moaning about technology and afraid that, people are watching her and she doesn't like anything about it. But my feeling is we get so much from it. I mean, not necessarily the AI situation or whatever, but I just think we gain so much from technology. I mean, my younger son is living in Japan, and the fact that
Oh
we
my
can
God.
FaceTime every day for free and talk. I mean, I would have probably lost my mind knowing that my 27-year-old was going to Japan to live in the old days,
Yeah.
But now it's great. And yes, I date, and I tell people literally on dating apps, like if I don't put my name or anything, but I say, if you want me to answer, basically when we talk, you'll be able to Google me and find out a lot about me.
Right.
If I can do the same for you, that would make it a lot better for me, because I get a lot of people wanting to talk to me, and that would help a lot. So I love it. I think it's very helpful. I mean, I can do a background check on somebody before I bring them to my house.
Oh my, yeah, that's great. And see,
Yeah.
the cool thing is like, not to brag, but I'm a celebrity myself. So you could Google me, and then,
it's not fun to have somebody say, hey, I did a background check on you and everything came back cool. And I'm like, what? Like, I thought we were just talking. I guess to meet up.
That's a smart person right there. That's
right.
A smart person.
I ended up marrying her. And so, so she, yeah, thank you for saying that. That's awesome.
Right.
Oh, so I scored. Thank
and
you.
Then you got Avenging Angel, which was the sequel to Angel. And so you like stole that role from the original Angel. Like that was cool, right?
That was cool. It was Rob, the director, wanting to replace Donna Wilkes, and the studio New World did not want to replace her. And so I auditioned for it. He fell in love with me. Literally, he was my biggest fan from the very beginning. He loved me to the day he passed away recently. We were talking and he wanted to do actually an avenging angel, 35, 40 years later. So he was actually writing that script for me when he passed away. He went to bat for me with the studio and basically said he wouldn't direct it without me. So I don't think they were dying for me as much as he was, but I ended up getting the role. And it did really, really well on video, and it, won awards and all that. And people seem to appreciate it. In fact, I just went to a screening of it downtown in who's the director, Lauren? My sister's here that has the theater, Quentin Tarantino's theater. They screened it for Robert Vincent O'Neill, and to do an homage to him, and it was really fun. We went. My son went. My son was the one that forced me to go to be there, and it was really cool. Yeah,
I like that movie because like it shows you that prostitutes can be heroes.
Absolutely, anybody can be a hero. Doesn't matter your vocation.
Yeah, and then and then like you did this movie called The Break, which had your ex-husband in it, but I don't know if you know this, on the poster you are top billed.
I was?
Yeah, it says you, Betsy Russell, then Martin Sheen. So
No
like
way.
that, yeah, so that's gotta be kind of cool.
My ex-husband wrote that movie, and I was supposed to play the lead with, Lee Katz, what's his name? Lee Katzen, I think, directed it. Is that his name? He wanted a bigger name, so they got Ray Don Chong. So I just had a small part in it. But yeah, he wrote it, and I thought it was cute. I thought it was really cute. But yeah, I'm surprised I got top billing. That's shocking. I hope it helped.
Yeah. But I just thought like maybe that's like a kind of like, haha, I got top billing on your movie you wrote. I don't know, like like confidence.
I doubt he even knows it. I doubt he knows it. But sometimes that happens. I've been in a lot of little movies, whether they put my son in it or whatever, and I've had top billing, and maybe I've only had one scene in it or something. And I always say, if it helps, great. If not, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
And then you took a break to raise your children, and then you came back, and I feel this is the greatest horror franchise ever, and the great Saw films. So like, what was that like to like did you know these were like going to be so much, because there's diehard fans out there,
Okay, so the story of that is I had just started dating the investor, Mark Berg. There was two investors, Mark Berg and Oren Kulas, and I'd known Mark for 10 years. He asked me on a date and said, do you want to meet me in Sundance? And I said, oh my God. I mean, I'd known him. I thought we were just friends, but I said, I've always wanted to go to Sundance with somebody that had a movie, playing there. So yeah, I'll go. I met him there. He said, we're going to go see the screening of this movie I produced called Saw. It's a horror movie, so be careful. And I was like, yeah. So we're watching it, and when it's over, it, got a lot of praise and everything. And I saw Oren, his partner, outside talking to the Lionsgate people. And I guess they wanted to buy it right then and there for $2 million. And Oren was screaming at him like, no, that's not enough or whatever. Thank God they didn't sell it. They ended up giving Lionsgate a percentage. But then I wasn't even acting at the time. Mark and I stayed together, and we had 3 kids between us. I was home doing that. And he was like, hey, we need somebody for a day part. There's 2 different parts. Why don't you go back to acting and do it for a day? And I was like, okay, sure. Why not? So he said, do you want to play a nurse, or do you want to play Tobin, that's the star of the movie's love interest, or something like that? We don't really know what she's going to be, but it's a scene that he's getting his brain sawed off or something. And I said, I'll do that one. I'll do that. As long as it's a scene with him, I think that's better. So I did it. One day I went to Toronto. We were in the park, lovey-dovey. And I for sure thought it was going to get cut out. I kept saying to Mark, like, has it been cut out? Has it been cut out? He's like, not yet. Not yet. I don't know, but not yet. So after that day part, the next movie, they were doing like a lottery. So they had different writers writing the script. They had 3 different sets of writers.
Yeah.
And at the screening for that one movie that I had done, saw 3, Patrick and Marcus, 2 writers that ended up writing the script, said, hey, we hope we get picked. And if we do, I think this was smart of them, we have you as the female lead. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh my, I hope you guys get picked. And they're like, us too, we do too. Wasn't that smart of them? I mean, I literally had 0 pull with Mark. It was all about Lionsgate and the financing and who wrote the best script. But one by one, the other 2 teams of writers dropped away and they picked Marcus and Patrick's script. And I was a really grateful, happy actress who got to go on and do 4 more after that. So yeah.
I think it's really smart that you said yes to Jill Tuck part, other than the doctor part.
I don't think she had a name yet at the time. Maybe she did. Yeah, other than the nurse. Absolutely. Well, anytime you can be in a scene with the lead of the franchise or the lead of anything, you much rather, if you get a small part in something, but it's a pivotal scene or an important scene with an important actor, it's always a possibility that you're gonna go on to do more. And I love how that franchise, you could be one day in one of the movies and then the next one or the next 2, 3 down the road, you have a much bigger or the lead in one of them. I think it's really cool.
Yeah. Hey, Victor, ask Betsy about that question you wanted to ask about the scripts.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, Betsy. Sorry. Yeah, I had a question because so sometimes like you get scripts like months or weeks in advance and you're studying them, you know them by heart, and it comes to like shooting time, and then they're like, hey, here's the new script. How do you get to, I mean, first of all, how do you feel when that happens, and how do you like improvise yourself to get yourself motivated to tell these lines? Like you've been rehearsing these other lines, you've been rehearsing for weeks, if not months. So I don't know if that's out of line type of question, but I'm just like, this is really like, I've seen this happen so many times. I'm like, this is the final script for this project, and I'm watching it verbatim. I'm like, they switched this around, they didn't put this in there. Well, this is not the final script, but this is the final script.
Well,
So
if you know anybody that's been in a sitcom, that they're changing the lines till the day of. They go out to lunch the day that you do the dress rehearsal, they come back and they change so much, and you have to go in front of an audience that night with so many new lines. So I always say that actors that have a photographic memory, like my son, I mean, they are so blessed. And for me, I'm the one studying, like, can I get the script 6 months in advance? And everyone says, don't learn your lines perfectly because they're going to change. And the directors will always say, we're going to change a lot. But it freaked me so out every single time. So of course, you're lucky to get them the day before the changes, and you just have to do your best to tell your brain to go to work. And if you're working all the time, the brain, the memory is a muscle, so you're better at memorizing the more you do it. And I never had like a job that I was, a regular on a series or anything, so I didn't have that luxury. When I was in my 20s, obviously my brain was a lot better, my memory, than it is now. So it's a definite concern, but you do your best. I mean, if you know the character pretty well, you know what she or he would say, and you really just do your best. And, I've heard stories. My ex-brother-in-law, Jimmy, who I'm still good friends with, he got an audition for a soap once. No, I think he got the role, but they gave him a monologue the night before. He was talking to a dead person, but they gave him this long monologue. He was up all night working with his mom. And that's just what you have to do. You have to, I mean, what's that show? Not Mrs. Doubtfire, the one, Mrs. something or other. She has it's a recent series. She has I can't remember, bad with names, but
is it the Tyler Perry thing?
No, but it's, it was back in the 50s. Was that a joke?
No, because Tyler Perry does a new movie every year with like he dresses up like an old lady, grandma.
I
No,
laughed because it was a
not
bad
that.
guess.
It was
bad guess.
Mrs. So-and-so. She's a comedian in the series, and it takes place in the 50s. I don't remember the name of it, but
Wait,
she was on a show recently, like the Today Show, and they said, "How the heck do you remember all these lines?" And she
Maisley.
said, "Yes, Miss Maisel, yes." She
Yeah,
said, "I
Maisley.
go around
Yeah.
all day and night, every day when I'm filming, doing these lines. Everyone's running with me. That's my whole entire life, and that's when you're working." There's so many people that can just like, it's not a big deal. But for me, even doing this play that I did years ago, I went through the entire script before every single performance, read all my lines. No one else did that, but I was always afraid I was going to forget. So it is a concern. You just have to let it
Jesus.
go.
That happens with stand up too, but then eventually you're just like, no, I know what I'm doing. But you can improvise your own stuff. But when you're reading a script, it's like, no, you have to say it exactly how it's said on the script, even if you just got the new script. So I'm just wondering because the correlation, because with stand up, it's a little bit more loosey goosey.
It
Unless you
is, but that's a big deal too. I mean, I did this tiny little movie, Return to the Dark Side, recently with this guy that I had done a play with, and they changed the lines, and I had memorized them the original way. They had changed them a few weeks prior to us filming. I guess I didn't look back, and so when it came time to do it, I learned them fast, but I kept forgetting, kept forgetting. And I felt like it was 4 a.m. We were still filming, and I felt like he was getting really perturbed, really, just at his wit's end with me forgetting.
Yeah.
And I knew the next night he had a ton of lines. And wouldn't you know it, it happened to him the next night. And I wouldn't say that I was like going inside, but I was.
All right.
Payback is a bitch. Yeah.
Now, Saw 4, which I feel is the best Saw of the whole series. You had because you were in it, and it showed a lot of background on your character, and you also got to work so much with Scott Patterson and Tobin Bell, and I wanted to know what was this? Oh my God, there's a ghost in your house.
My sister,
Oh.
my younger, hotter sister, Lauren. Yeah, she's
Oh,
here.
okay.
Just wave in the background.
Hi.
She says hi.
So I guess well, I apologize. I
okay.
What about Scott Patterson and Tobin Bell? Because those are two great actors, and you got to spend a lot of time with them. And how was it, for you?
It was fun. It's always fun spending time with great people in general. They were great. They were nice. They were fun. Tobin, I've said this many times, he's just the consummate actor. I mean, we used to live in the same neighborhood. He's since moved out, but we used to go over our lines, go over our character, go over our relationship. He would bring me things, to make me feel like we really were in a relationship. We spent a lot of time together. We first got to know each other, our first film together. Yeah. 3, I think it was.
Yeah.
And he was on the set when he wasn't working. He was cheering me on. He was telling me I was the greatest thing ever. I mean, he's a dream to work with. He really is. And Scott and I became friendly, and he was really fun. And yeah, we went over our lines a lot, and he was great. It's fun hanging out with actors. They're usually not boring.
Yeah.
And you're, like I said, way on location, with like Costas and Scott. We'd always have a bunch of women, waiting, and like Donnie Wahlberg, who was in, which one was he in? I can't remember.
He was in 4, yeah.
Yeah, so 4. We'd always get back to our hotel. There'd be tons of fans waiting outside, to go crazy and stuff. So we always had a lot of fun. That's one of the best perks about being an actor. It's not boring. It's fun. It's exciting. It's a great career if you can get a job.
Yeah.
Actors are fun.
I couldn't get a job as an actor. That's why I did stand up, because I better at making people laugh than I am about, making people cry, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It's not easy. I mean, what is it? 0.000001%. They say make a living. I would say ever get a job. People that come to LA or New York to try to be an actor or London or whatever, I just think it's so few and far between. I'm just so freaking grateful that I've done anything, So yeah.
Do you ever hang out at a bar or something, and you pull the celebrity card and you get free drinks and all that stuff?
Are you kidding? It's not that I need the free drinks or want the free drinks, but I had a girlfriend until she got married a couple of years ago. We used to go out together, and I would tell her, if there's a guy talking to me, I said, don't say, I tell him I'm a life coach, but if I, like grab your leg, that means you could tell him I'm an actor. That means I like him. But it's like, it's just a weird thing because it's not like everybody likes actors, but she'd be like, oh yeah, she's been in the Saw movies. Are you a fan? I'd be like, but of course I would like be grabbing her leg, like tell him I'm an actress. It's so ridiculous. But anyway, it was fun. So yeah. I did though. I have pulled the card for certain things when I really want something. And I'm just in Hoboken, wherever, and they're not used to meeting actors. I will definitely say, if your son wants a headshot, if he's a, horror fan, let me know. Something like that. It helps.
It does help because I pull that card all the time. Like, cause I do road gigs and stuff. And I'd be like in the middle of like Nebraska or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be like, yeah, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a celebrity. I should get this for free. And they're like, okay, let me Google you. I was like, just Google Jeffrey Dahmer, and I get it for free.
No. Whoa, yeah, no, that would be a definite. You have to pay extra.
Excellent. I have one more question about the movies, and then I want to talk about the life coaching. You produced a movie that you starred in called Bully High, and I thought that was such a great story. And I wanted to know, what touched you into wanting to produce that and making that?
I think it really wasn't my idea. They came to me and wanted me to do it, and I wanted my son to be in it. And I did like the backstory of it all, obviously. A Muslim girl fighting, for her to get out of the mold of what she was in and coming to America, blah, blah, blah. And I think it was a good time. My son had a small part in it. It was fun. I don't even know what they've done with it, but yeah, I haven't been that involved with it, to be honest. But yeah, it wasn't my idea. I didn't write the script. I just said, yeah, I'll jump on board. It sounded like a good idea, and I hope it helps.
Yeah, because one time they asked me to produce a movie, and I know nothing about producing movies, so I said sure, and I just came in with like a big fruit and vegetable tray.
Good for you.
Because I was a producer. Anyways.
Yeah. Producer.
These jokes get worse as the interview gets.
That was
bad. So Betsy, I wanted to ask about the life coach, because that's something you're very passionate on, that you've been doing a lot of. So what made you want to start doing that?
A bad relationship that I was in.
Oh.
I was in a tough relationship, and my best girlfriend had just started school at University of Santa Monica for spiritual psychology. And I found myself asking her for a lot of help when I would have problems in the relationship. And one day she said, why don't you just sign up for the weekend? You're going to love it. And if you like it, then you can go on and do more. And I did. And I signed up for the weekend, and I continued to go from 2007 till 2015, when I became a certified life coach. So it was like one weekend a month. Yeah. But it was best thing I ever did for myself, for sure. And for my kids, because it made me a better mother. It made me a better person. It's, yes, quite amazing. And now I coach using everything I learned at University of Santa Monica and another modality called 3 Principles, which is all about teaching the mind, kind of like understanding our mind and our thoughts and how it relates to creating the life of either our dreams or a negative mindset. So I love all those tools in my toolbox.
And do you also study hypnotizing stuff, or?
I'm a certified hypnotherapist as well. Actually, I did get certified back in the day, so I can use that as well.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. Because I'm trying to quit smoking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it actually works.
Yeah.
You might have to do it more than one time, and it works for some better than it works for others. But it's the power of suggestion, hypnosis, and how it affects our subconscious, which is a lot easier to change habits in our psyche and our subconscious rather than our conscious mind. So it really works. It's great. I've hypnotized people over the phone. I've hypnotized groups of people, and you wouldn't do anything. I mean, I know, you think of it like, oh, you're going to, squawk like a bird or a duck or whatever. But that's kind of a silly sort of thing. Like, you're not going to do anything or say anything under hypnosis. Like if you said, I want my girlfriend to eat healthier, but your girlfriend doesn't want to eat healthier. And so she gets hypnotized. It's probably not going to work because she really has to want to eat in a healthier way.
Right. So she's going to want to have like some form of her is going to want to do it.
Yeah. We have to want to do it, I think, for it to work. Yeah. Deep down.
Well, I don't have a girlfriend, so there's no need to hypnotize her.
Not yet.
No. But is it easier for you to be interviewed by like random folks or like celebrities like me?
Well, this is easy. This is easy, and I don't remember being interviewed by random folks ever. So
okay.
I don't do many of these, to be honest. I don't do many of these, but for some reason I said yes.
Yeah. That's why I love you. Victor, you got any last second questions for Betsy?
Well, yeah, I mean, is there any like motivational speeches or advice, to stay more positive as a life coach, or just in general? Since the pandemic, everybody's been like a curmudgeon. Everybody's been at their worst.
You want to hear it? I could read it. It will take it.
You can read it or say it, as best you remember, or whatever you feel more comfortable.
It's not like I remember it because it's an actual speech that I want to say to high school and college people, and I think I know where it is, or I think I have it on my phone. Well,
if it's like that,
do whatever you want, Betsy Russell.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure where I have it. I could take a second to look. Well, let's do it another time. I think
we'll do it on part 2.
Yeah, we could do it in part 2, or
can we do the bullet points? Maybe. Sorry, I'm just trying to be positive more, because it's just like I'm not trying to put you on the pod.
It's a very specific. I wish I was on my computer, or actually, I don't know. It's a great speech. It's about 10-15 minutes though, but I think it's a great speech, and
we have time.
Really?
Time.
Yeah, if you want to do it, you could do it.
Like, seriously, like.
Well, I'd have to go look for it. That might take a second though. I think I know where it is, but I'm not 1,000,000%, because the only thing is I just renovated my house here and put everything in storage. So I think it's here though. But ask me a few more questions, and maybe I'll have Lauren. You want to go? No, she doesn't want to help me look for it. Anyway,
sorry.
The ghost doesn't want to help.
Can I find albums on my computer and look in it? It's on my phone. I guess I could. Anyway, let's talk. Ask me a few more questions, and I'll go see. I did just see it, but I have to. It's in my office somewhere. I could.
Yeah.
We'd have
I was just asking for life advice, and it's just like, you're like, no, I got 15 minutes or nothing.
No,
I'll ask you a good question to stall a little.
Yeah, I got 15 minutes of good. You would love it, and I would love it to be out there, because then, hopefully I would get hired to do more speeches. I want to do inspirational speeches.
Oh my God. Speaking. That's what my comedy is all about. Inspirational. That would be great. Yeah.
That's one of my goals, 100%. But I won't do it now because whatever. But anyway.
You could open up for me, like, and just do that speech, and then and do comedy.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right. Excellent. Yeah. See, my relationship with Betsy Russell is going up, folks.
Yes.
Wait, what?
I was gonna say, what Keith didn't mention was, please add a punchline every 3 to 5 seconds, if possible. No, I'm just kidding. No. You're supposed to add a punchline every 6 seconds. It's really. Like,
see,
really?
that's a lot of pressure. Sidekicks. They're either on it or then they fall.
No, I mean, sorry about the negative narrative.
No, you're good, buddy. Okay, so this question's going to stall some time. So, what was it like working for different directors on different saws? Like four was Darren Bozen, the other was David Hackle, then the other was Kevin. I don't
Greuter.
remember. Yeah.
Greuter. Well, Darren was insane. He's hilarious. He's just crazy. You know, like I mean, I hadn't acted in 10 years when I did Saw 4. I mean,
Yeah.
three was like an hour work. But when I did 4, I had a lot of pressure on me because I really was coming back after a long hiatus. And I was, you know, I won't say I was rusty, but it was rusty. And I was kind of freaking out, nervous. And, you know, Darren would try to loosen me up and he'd jump, you know, get in my ear and scare me and just do all this crazy stuff. But he was, you know, he's a genius. He's amazing. They all are. They're all incredible. They're all great directors. I wouldn't say, like, I can't specifically say this one was better or worse or whatever. They're all different, just like
Different
people.
styles.
You know?
Yeah.
Just different. I don't even know so much about the styles, but yeah, I think it was Kevin's first directing job because he had been an editor. He had edited a lot of the Saw films, so they wanted to give him a shot, which was amazing. He did an incredible job. So, and that one was, I believe it was 3D that he directed.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's, you know, he had to learn a lot. I think it was he that directed that one. Yeah, pretty sure. So, and I know Darren directed a couple of them, and he didn't even want to do the second one. They had to give him a lot of money to do it. So,
But money changes people's minds.
Money makes you say yes a lot. Yeah.
So I don't know if I should tell you this, but Victor and I are writing a script for you, and you're going to be the star, and it's going to be really, really funny. I'm going to pitch it to you. It's going to be called the job coach, right? Or the life coach, right? That's what it's going to be called. And it's going to be a life coach, Betsy Russell, right? And she's going to coach, right? A struggling stand-up comedian. Right now I'm in the running for it, but you know, we could always recast it. And you know, yeah, excellent.
If you give me a role for my son, I'll do it.
Oh, Victor, can we write a role for our son?
He's a gorgeous 30-year-old hunk of a guy. So, and he's got great comic timing. He's done a lot actually so far. He's got a couple things coming out, but anyway, start writing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a gorgeous 38-year-old, so yeah, maybe we could be casted as brothers.
Yeah,
so,
the three brothers. Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
I'm just kidding.
Betsy, if you could go into a time machine,
yeah,
and talk to a younger version of yourself, and you know, tell her everything that you know now, like what would you tell a younger version of yourself?
It's funny because when I was young, I always wished I had a crystal ball.
Yeah.
I knew that decisions that I made when I started thinking that when I was probably 12, 13, 14, the decisions that I made in my life would be so important. I would tell myself that life is like Earth School. Yeah. And we're going to go up, we're going to go down, we're going to have a lot of twists and turns, but it's the way that we pull ourselves up by our bootstraps that defines us. So when we get knocked down, we got to come back up. But I think I always knew that. I think I was always a survivor. I don't think I would tell myself anything except enjoy the ride. You know, I love the decisions that I've made. And I think, honestly, I've had a great life so far. So I would just say, sit back and enjoy the ride. And I have.
I'm so glad you said that and you didn't say, Betsy, don't do Keith Reza's podcast.
No, definitely wouldn't have said that.
Oh, excellent. Where can the folks at home?
What about that question for you?
Oh, me? I would I mean, mine's kind of sad. But
Jesus Christ.
I toured with Norm Macdonald for 9 years, and during the last 2 years we were constantly always fighting and stuff. And I think I would go back in time and just say, hey, make sure you tell him that you love him every day because you're going to lose him soon. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
That's intense. That's a good one to tell everybody out there. My whole thing is like, don't leave someone, don't say goodbye on the phone with any animosity. If you have any resentment or negative feelings, let it go, because if you lose them tomorrow, you're going to be sorry. Like my niece isn't talking to her mother right now, my sister, and it kills me because I say to her, and I have said to her, like, what if she dies? She's 67. What if she dies and she doesn't answer me? She
mm-hmm.
doesn't send text back. But it's just heartbreaking. The people that are so mad and then they lose somebody. And I've seen it so many times. And for the rest of their lives, they feel so guilty and can't get over it.
Yeah.
So nothing's worse than being in a fight or being upset with somebody. And you don't even really know why most of the time. Most people
No,
don't know. They're just
yeah,
angry, something bugged them, and they hold a grudge. For what? You hold a ball of fire to throw at somebody and you're the one that gets burned. So yeah, sorry you feel that way. But I'm sure he's looking down, and I'm sure he knows
oh
that.
yeah. I mean, he didn't. We didn't when he passed. He didn't. We didn't end on bad terms. I was just saying we always fought the last 2 years, and I know because he was going through the cancer and stuff, but like also the pandemic, and I just wish that maybe we could have been more patient with each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I also believe everything. I agree, and I hear what you're saying, but I also think everything happens for a reason, and you did the best you could at the time, knowing what you knew.
Yeah.
And you weren't the only one being argumentative. He was doing it too, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
So maybe it was just the way you guys communicated.
Huh. What about you, Victor? What would you tell yourself?
What if I had a time machine or what?
Yeah, you could talk to a younger version of Victor.
I don't know. Just say, hey, just drop out of school and just do stand up. Just drop out of school. Just you already won the talent show 2 years in a row. You're a middle school legend. Just drop out. Just do stand up. Instead of doing stand up when I was like 13 years old, and then doing it again when I'm 27 years old. It's just like should have just continued. That's what
So
I
you
would have
feel
told myself.
all the years were kind of wasted?
Oh, I'm super wasted with school. I mean,
Yeah.
by condescending teachers that think that because they know the lesson plan the day before me, that they're superior to me. It's just like I did learn a lot from a lot of great teachers. I'm not taking that for
There
granted.
you go.
So I'm not spiteful of teachers, but it's just like when I was substitute teaching, I would give my students like a lot of options with scholarship opportunities and like, hey, you don't have to join the military. This is what you got to do. Just get 3.0. I know to graduate you need a 2.0. Just get a 3.0. You get all these free money.
Yeah.
So it's just that's how I'd try to inspire kids. Surprise, like I told some of my friends out there, like, hey, dude, you better make sure the government just doesn't try to kill you. Because I'd go to a lot of black and brown schools and talk about getting free money by getting high scores and good grades. And so I was just like, yeah, you might get wiped out of the government. The government might take you out.
You know what I always think about when people look back and said, I wish I would have done this differently, or I wish I would have done that. I mean, I could have easily said, I wish I'd gone to college and learned acting at UCLA or something. Of course, I was doing movies already by the time, I was 19. But I say if one tiny thing in our lives was different, even tiniest little thing ever, it could have changed everything.
Yeah.
So if you had not gone to college and you had gone right to stand up, what if you had gotten into an accident and been killed? What if any of us had walked out of our door one day and, been run over by something? So I always say, when people say, I wish I would have done this differently, or I wish I would have done that, I say, well, how do you know it would have been better?
I
I'm
mean,
not saying
no. You are
I'm not saying
absolutely
you.
correct. There's times where
Yeah.
I've left my house driving and there's a car accident. And I'm like kicking
Yeah.
myself in the butt about 10
Yeah.
minutes. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
holy crap. This
Yes.
took, oh my God, that could have been me right there on the side of the
Yeah.
road with the CHP because
Yes.
I rear-ended somebody, sideswiped me or whatever. That could have been me. That looks like 10 minutes
Absolutely.
worth of so it's just like maybe it was great that I ran late that day.
And what if
And
I
so
married
like
somebody else and I didn't get divorced? Then I wouldn't have these exact same kids. You know what I mean? It's like,
right. Oh
so
my God. Well, yeah, that's
with the negative
right.
thoughts, like I should have married somebody else, I'd still be together with him, or I should have done this or that. Well, maybe I wouldn't have had kids. Maybe he wouldn't have been able to. Maybe, I mean, there's so many maybes that what
Yeah.
we have almost always we traded in for, as opposed to those lives that we don't know if they would have been better. We just think people have so many regrets. And then I say, great, well, consider this too. What if you weren't here right now? That type of thing.
Well, it's kind of like, and we have one more question, and we want to respect your time, but it's kind of like, Victor, if you said, "Hey, stay in school or drop out of school or do stand up," if you did that, maybe our paths wouldn't have crossed, and then maybe we wouldn't have met Betsy.
Our,
You know what I mean?
well, no, well, you got Betsy without me, so your
Well, I
path
am
with Betsy would have
adorable.
been the
What can I
same.
say?
Yeah, so not undermine you or anything. No, Betsy, you've been a delight. Like awesome. Like I've co-hosted this with Keith so many times, and it's just like, yeah, you're very vibrant and very like it's like I don't know you, but I feel like I've known you for years. So you give off that really cool vibe. And I'm like, yeah, I could trust you. Like one time I was looking for marriage counselors with my wife, and like, oh my God, okay. So like we're talking to the counselor, and it's like, oh my God, and like, oh my God, and like, oh my God, and like, oh my God. And I'm just like, and we get off the phone. My wife's like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "Oh my God!" Like we're like totally not paying like, oh my God, like $150 per hour for like, oh my God, like this chick to
Mm-mm.
be like, oh my God, like oh my God, and I'm just like, and like I've also heard the dude version of that with like, yeah, dude, bro, bruh, bro,
Yeah.
bruh, bro,
Yeah.
bruh, bro. So I'm not
Got to
trying.
be
I'm
a good
really not
therapist.
trying to be sexist or anything. I've heard
Yeah.
it on both spectrums, and I'm just like, you are not. I do not trust you with my secrets. I do not
Yeah.
trust you to
A lot
help
of
me
times
on this
couples
journey.
therapy is just about impressing the therapist. So
Yeah.
which side are you on? And I don't do it that way. I coach one person individually and the other person individually. And then when we're all thinking in the same mindset, I put it all together, which I think works a lot better than just coming together and everybody venting. And sometimes you leave there more upset.
Wow.
I want to put down couples
Well,
therapy because it's definitely better than nothing, probably. But like, you don't necessarily want to air all the dirty laundry and say things you can't take back. I do a whole other situation. Yeah. But
Well,
you can find me, by the way, at betsyrussellcoaching.com, and you can sign up for half hour. It's only $50. For an hour
wow.
session, it's only $100. I put my price way down because I want to be able to coach anybody and everybody. And most people can come up with $50, or if they really couldn't, then I would make an exception. So I think sometimes one conversation can change a life. I've done it many times, I like to say. Yeah, I think I'm very helpful. So
That was actually my last question. Where can the folks go to follow and support you and find out about your services?
that's it.
Ah,
BetsyRussellCoaching.com. There's another website that has more about my acting and a little bit about my coaching. They can get autograph pictures there. They can, write in for an autograph photo. It's like $50 or something just for my time. But yeah, that's and then the letter M, BetsyRussell.com. But the other one, Betsy Russell Coaching, is all about my coaching.
well, Betsy, thank you so much for chatting with us. It really meant a lot to me. I mean, it's not every day you could talk to your future wife, and I appreciate that. Like,
Thank you. That's sweet.
all right.
Thanks. I
Well,
love
have
the
a
dog photos in the back. Cute. Cute, cute.
thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
I hope you have a great rest of your summer.
you
And
too.
Hey, you too. Thank you so much.
okay.
Great chat.
Take care.
Okay, bye, Betsy Russell.
Bye.
Thank
All
you
right,
so
guys,
much.
that was the interview with Betsy Russell. Subscribe, rate, review, and we'll see you next week. How do you stop the recording, Victor?
Doesn't
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.